everybody, my name's Melissa and I decided to do my presentation this week on the Scopes trial. Some facts about the Scopes trial is that in Tennessee there was an old law, an anti-evolution law that was still on the books that nobody had ever really tested. So the ACLU got together with a member of the school board and actually chose Mr. Scopes to be the guinea pig for this trial to test the law. The ACLU absolutely backed up Mr. Scopes, paid his fine of $100, which I think is what the ending was, and also paid for all of his court costs and anything else that may have been needed due to him actually being the scapegoat for this trial. Now, like I said, the law had never been challenged, but Mr. Walter White, who was the head of the school board, had asked Scopes if he would be the guinea pig on this, and again the ACLU came in and backed him up. At first I believe that Scopes was actually a little bit taken aback and really didn't want to have anything to do with it and kind of said no, but he turned around and eventually said yes, and you know, the rest, as we know, is history. However, some of the players within this are extremely interesting, and one being William Jennings Bryan. William Jennings Bryan himself was the former Secretary of State of the United States, and he was also a three-time presidential candidate who had lost, obviously. But we don't know for sure if he was just trying to get himself back into the limelight and be the defender of the faith, as he so called himself, or if he was just seriously really wanting to do this, because he had traveled across the United States several times in order to take on anti-evolution laws and try and get them passed throughout the country. Whether he did this to avail or not still remains to be seen. And then for the defense, the trial counsel was Clarence Darrow, who was a self-proclaimed agnostic. Now, an agnostic is different than an atheist. An agnostic believes that there's something there, we just don't know what it is, and it goes on, or believes that there's nothing there, science will prove everything. And then, of course, William Jennings Bryan was a fundamentalist. What the Bible said, the Bible was, it was the law. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. A straight up fundamentalist. And within a couple of the articles that I found, which were from the, one was from the New York Times that was done in 1946. So it was like 20, 30 years after the Scopes trial itself. And then I found another one that was done 50 years after and what it had done to the town. The town still has little plaques or what have you that represent the Scopes trial here on these steps and all this other good stuff that deal with it. I bet you that would probably be pretty interesting to go look at. However, and the defendant was John Thomas Scopes. To this day, nobody ever really knows who won that trial, although Scopes was found guilty and he did have to pay a $100 fine, which of course the ACLU did pay. However, a couple days later, the case was overturned, and everybody expected this huge trial because it caused such a hoopla. People were coming in from out of town, everywhere, to come into the small town in Dayton, Tennessee, to see the Bible be put on trial, or actually evolution be put on trial. And they all expected this case to go up to the Supreme Court. Well, it never did. So therefore, the case is basically still kind of hanging in limbo. So is it a tie? Did evolution win? Did the Bible win? It all depends on the state. And the reason why the ACLU got involved was because they were playing a very thin line between church and state. They wanted to prove that the church did not belong in the schools, and the state and the schools were state run. Therefore, religion doesn't belong within the schools. So therefore, the theory of evolution needed to be taught. Well, some states said, okay, we'll let you teach the theory of evolution as long as you teach Genesis and give it equal time. Some states just said, okay, well, we'll just teach evolution, but the books in which they bought had very little to do with evolution itself. Most of the way that students got the information was because from science class, with the evolution of plants and flowers and all this other good stuff that goes along with the science, they would ask questions about humans and how that all came about and how it differed with the Bible. So questions did come up. Now, whether those questions were answered or not, it probably just depended on the school district and the teacher. But Scopes kind of blazed the trail there, although he was he was a guinea pig, and he was at the end a willing participant in it. But this trial was very carefully planned out. It was not one that just happened. It was carefully planned. Every step was planned along the way, and everything was very deliberate within this. Today, Tennessee still has the anti-evolution law on the books, believe it or not. It has been challenged many, many times, and it has never been defeated. So that is still on the books in Tennessee. And it's amazing that in today's age, in 2018, that type of law is still on the books, and that we're still having this argument between church and state, and between what should be taught and what should not be taught. But I guess it just kind of goes with par for the course with America, and the ability that we have to kind of think for ourselves and figure it out. And we have the ability to choose where our children want to go to school, and what they would like, and what we would like our children to be taught. And we have to thank the ACLU and Williams, Jennings Bryan, and Darrow and Scopes for making that happen, because who knows where we would have been had it not been for those people to set in motion the chain of events that happened for this trial. Thank you.